Donald Trump took office with a promise to put America first. And how did he plan to do that? By waging a trade war, of course. Armed with tariffs, Trump believed he could bring back American jobs, shrink the trade deficit, and get tough on China. It was a bold strategy, to say the least. Trump's tariffs were like a shot across the bow of global trade. He slapped them on goods from China, the European Union, Canada, Mexico, and you name it. The goal? To protect American industries from what he saw as unfair competition. It was a classic case of America first, but at what cost? The tariffs were controversial from the get-go. Critics called them attacks on American consumers and businesses. They warned of a global trade war that would hurt everyone. But Trump was undeterred. He insisted that the tariffs were necessary to protect American interests. And so began a period of uncertainty and upheaval in the global economy. Let's talk numbers, people. Trump wasn't shy about slapping tariffs on a whole host of goods. Steel and aluminium, those building blocks of industry, were hit with 25% and 10% tariffs respectively, affecting imports from all over the place. But China was in the crosshairs. Over $360 billion worth of Chinese goods got hit with tariffs, sometimes in multiple rounds. Remember those reciprocal tariffs? Yeah, those were a doozy. The idea was to match tariffs imposed by other countries, to make things fair, except the calculations were based on trade deficits, not actual unfair trade practices. So you had Cambodia facing a whopping 49% tariff, Vietnam at 46%, the EU at 20%, and China got an extra 34% on top of everything else. These tariffs weren't just numbers on a spreadsheet, they had real-world consequences. American businesses that relied on imported goods saw their costs skyrocket. Farmers, the backbone of the nation, found themselves shut out of foreign markets as retaliatory tariffs kicked in. And consumers, well, let's just say those low prices they were promised, not so much. Remember that booming economy Trump kept bragging about? Well, the tariffs didn't exactly help. Sure, some industries initially benefited from the protection, but overall the tariffs ended up costing American businesses and consumers billions of dollars. Manufacturers, especially those who relied on imported materials, saw their costs rise. That fancy new car, more expensive. That washing machine, you guessed it, pricier. And farmers who depend on exports were hit especially hard. China, a major buyer of American soybeans and pork, slapped retaliatory tariffs on those products. The result? A whole lot of unsold crops and a big dent in farm incomes. The stock market, that barometer of American confidence, went on a bit of a roller coaster ride thanks to the trade tensions. And while the overall impact on GDP growth was modest, it wasn't exactly insignificant. Experts estimated that the tariffs would cost the average American household over $2,100 per year by 2025. Talk about a hefty tax increase. Section 4. A world on edge. Global consequences of the trade wars. America wasn't the only one feeling the heat from Trump's trade wars. The global economy, already facing its own set of challenges, was thrown into a state of uncertainty. China, the main target of Trump's tariffs, saw its economic growth slow as its manufacturing sector took a hit. The European Union, no stranger to trade spats, found itself caught in the crossfire. European businesses faced higher costs for American goods, and retaliatory tariffs further escalated tensions. Canada and Mexico, America's NAFTA partners, were initially hit hard by the steel and aluminum tariffs, though the USMCA, more on that later, helped mitigate some of the damage. The big fear was that Trump's trade wars would trigger a global recession. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But the tariffs did create a climate of uncertainty and distrust, making it harder for businesses to plan for the future. And that's not exactly a recipe for global economic prosperity. Section 5, Shifting Sands, the long game and the legacy of trade tensions. The trade war wasn't all doom and gloom. It led to significant changes in global trade. NAFTA got a makeover, resulting in the USMCA. Trump's tariffs prompted activity at the WTO. Countries filed disputes, straining the trading system. Biden inherited a trade mess, rolling back some tariffs. The long-term impact of Trump's trade wars is still playing out. The global trade landscape has been irrevocably altered.